Helena, the manager of a luxury boutique, thought she could humiliate Morgan Freeman for looking too casual, never realizing that she was about to make a mistake she couldn't undo. But when Clint Eastwood walked in, the atmosphere in the boutique shifted instantly. What happened next left everyone speechless, and this story quickly turned into a scandal no one saw coming. Before we dive into the story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you enjoy tales like this, subscribe to the channel. Tomorrow we've got another special story coming your way. Eloise Paris wasn't just any boutique. It was the epitome of luxury, an exclusive realm where only the wealthiest could step inside. The items displayed were carefully selected, each piece representing the highest standards of wealth and status. Helena, the manager, ran the store with strict authority, ensuring that only the right kind of people, those who fit her idea of worthy, could be part of this exclusive world. One afternoon, Morgan Freeman walked through the doors. Dressed simply in a casual shirt and jeans, he was the exact opposite of the well-dressed, high-society customers Helena typically welcomed. But there was something undeniable about Freeman's presence. His calm confidence and humility made him stand out in a room full of designer suits and accessories. While most would have felt out of place in such a high-end environment, Freeman didn't try to blend in. His quiet dignity was enough to make anyone around him feel his weight of character. He didn't need to wear the most expensive clothes to command respect. His demeanor did that for him. As he moved through the boutique, the usual chatter from the VIP customers quieted. All eyes were subtly drawn to him, sensing that this man, though unassuming, wasn't someone to be judged by appearances alone. He wasn't flashy or arrogant, but there was a power in how he carried himself. As soon as Morgan Freeman entered, Helena's sharp eyes immediately locked onto him. She assessed every detail of his appearance. He wasn't wearing a tailored designer suit, nor did he have any of the luxury accessories she expected from her boutique's high-class clientele. His simple shirt and jeans contrasted sharply with the sleek, polished look of the regular customers. To Helena, this was more than a fashion choice. It was a direct challenge to the prestige and exclusivity she worked so hard to cultivate. Her trained gaze quickly moved over him. No expensive watch, no designer shoes, and certainly no high-end handbag. This man didn't fit the elite mold she had created. He wasn't the type of customer she thought belonged in her boutique. He didn't seem like someone who understood the finer things in life. In her eyes, he simply didn't belong here. With a polite but cold smile, Helena approached him. "Can I help you, sir?" Her voice was courteous, but there was an unmistakable hint of superiority in her tone, as if she were already assuming that he wouldn't be interested in making a purchase. Freeman turned to face her, his gaze steady, unflinching. He wasn't fazed by her condescending tone. "I'm just looking," he replied, his voice calm and even, without a trace of irritation or resistance. It was clear that he wasn't bothered by her judgment, yet there was an underlying strength in the way he spoke. Unbothered, but aware. Helena, still determined to assert her authority, continued, her smile tight. "Just so you know, everything here is for clients who understand the finer things in life." Freeman simply smiled slightly in response, his expression calm and patient, reflecting both wisdom and humility. He said nothing, but his eyes, those deep, knowing eyes, spoke volumes. It was as if he was letting her words wash over him, showing no sign of being intimidated or defensive. Instead of reacting, Freeman calmly continued to look around the store. His calmness, his poise, seemed to confuse Helena. She couldn't understand how someone like him could walk through her doors with such dignity and not follow her unspoken rules. Feeling the tension rise, Helena decided to take charge. She walked over to Freeman with deliberate steps, determined to regain control of the situation. "I see you're looking at the more exclusive pieces," she said, forcing a sweetness into her voice. But the underlying condescension was clear. "Perhaps I can recommend something that would suit your taste better." Freeman turned toward her, his gaze steady and unwavering. "You think this dress wouldn't suit me?" His voice was calm but firm, cutting through the atmosphere like a quiet but powerful challenge. Helena hesitated, caught off guard by his question. She hadn't expected him to respond so directly. "No, I just thought maybe there's something more appropriate," she faltered, her confidence starting to slip. Freeman's smile grew ever so slightly, but it was sharp and knowing. "Appropriate for whom?" he asked, his tone still calm, but the implication was unmistakable. The door chimed again, and with it, the atmosphere in the boutique shifted. The usual quiet hum of conversation stopped, and all eyes turned as Clint Eastwood walked in. His presence, quiet yet undeniable, commanded instant attention. He moved with the authority of someone who had nothing to prove, exuding confidence without speaking a word. Clint made his way toward Freeman, offering a subtle nod of recognition to his old friend. The familiarity between them was clear. This wasn't just any ordinary customer or encounter. "Did they treat you right?" Clint Eastwood's voice cut through the silence. His words were calm but carried an undeniable weight, as though nothing else mattered in the room but the answer to that question. Helena, now realizing the gravity of the situation, stood frozen. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came. Morgan Freeman didn't need to explain anything. His mere presence had already communicated all that needed to be said. He didn't need to fight back, to shout or argue. Freeman smiled, his expression still composed, but his voice carried a quiet strength. "Oh, yes, they were unforgettable." The room fell into absolute silence. Every single person in the boutique was now aware of the shift in power. Helena, once so confident, stood speechless, her carefully constructed facade of control crumbling before her eyes. The boutique's atmosphere changed instantly. What had been a place of calm and exclusivity now felt tense and uneasy. One of the VIP clients, an impeccably dressed woman, leaned in towards another and whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear, "If they treat Morgan Freeman like that, imagine how they treat the rest of us." The words hit hard. Helena's heart sank as the weight of the situation crashed down on her. She realized her entire career had just unraveled before her eyes. She had no one left to blame but herself. The prestige she had built around herself and the boutique was now shattered. The boutique, once a symbol of exclusivity, now felt like a courtroom where Helena's actions were on trial. She could feel the eyes of the room on her, waiting for her to respond, but all she could do was stand there, unable to speak. Clara, one of the younger sales assistants who had witnessed everything from the beginning, couldn't stay silent anymore. She stepped forward, her face set in a quiet determination. Without a word, Clara removed her name tag and placed it gently on the counter. The room fell even quieter. "I can't work here anymore," Clara said softly, her voice thick with discomfort and disappointment. There was no anger in her voice, only a quiet resignation, as though she could no longer stand by and watch the injustice unfold. Helena's facade of control crumbled completely. She realized that in her pursuit of status, she had lost something far more important, the respect of those around her. A few hours later, Clint Eastwood, Morgan Freeman, and Clara sat at a quiet cafe across town. The hum of conversation was soft and peaceful as they sipped their drinks, contrasting sharply with the tense atmosphere of the boutique earlier. Clara, who had been burdened by the weight of judgment and discomfort, was finally able to breathe easy. She was free from the toxic environment Helena had created. Morgan Freeman, always a voice of calm wisdom, smiled at Clara, offering a kind, reassuring look. "Sometimes the best places to grow are the ones where respect is mutual," he said, his voice steady, carrying the wisdom that only time and experience could provide. Clara nodded, feeling the truth of his words resonate deeply. She had spent so long in a world where superficial judgments ruled, and now she understood that true growth only happened in places where people valued respect over appearance. With Morgan's words echoing in her mind, she knew she was ready to leave behind the world of judgment and find a place where she could truly flourish. Meanwhile, Clint, ever the quiet observer, watched Clara with a knowing smile. He had seen many people come and go throughout his life, but few had the strength and grace that Clara had shown in making the decision to walk away from something that didn't serve her. This story reminds us that true worth isn't defined by status or wealth. It's about how we treat others and how we choose to walk through the world with dignity and respect. While superficial judgments may momentarily give us power, it's the genuine connections built on respect that last.